Hey Wando, I'm Ellie Grace Goodwin.
And I'm Christian Crone.
And welcome to this week's episode of Tribe Talk.
This week we'll be taking a look at Hurricane Florence, unified sports, and self-driving cars.
On the week of September 9th, Hurricane Florence swept through the East Coast, causing multiple states to declare a state of emergency.
While we did not feel the full effects of the storm here at home, many residents decided to evacuate the Mount Pleasant and Charleston areas alike.
Salome Stork met with News 2's Rob Fowler to discuss the effects of the storm in both the real world and journalistic communities.
So how do you think the storm has affected the Mount Pleasant area?
Well, I think obviously it could have been much worse in terms of the actual impacts. We got very lucky, but at the same time, I think it got people thinking about and preparing for potentially a storm. And it's always nice to keep it top of mind. Even if we don't have something, preparing is certainly a great way to go. That way, when it does happen, if it does happen, you don't have to worry about running to the stores and getting all those last minute supplies. You've already got them.
Well, why do you think that South Carolina has decided to take such an extensive procedure on storms like Florence?
I think, Salome, I think it's the population. There are so many more people who have moved here, and I think the governor and all those folks who are responsible for making sure we stay safe have some tough decisions to make, and part of that is it takes a lot of people to get, a lot of time to get people out.
Absolutely.
So I think the population growth in the Charleston area, you guys know, all of you guys know that you drive around town and the traffic is getting almost ridiculous, but that's because people love to come to an area where they can drive 10 minutes to the ocean. So hurricanes unfortunately affect us and impact us, and we've got to be prepared, and one way to do that is knowing what you're going to do. And evacuation is one way to do it. So I think they've got to have a plan. Going back to 1999, Hurricane Floyd, there wasn't much of a plan.
Right.
It created a major tie-up on the freeways, and I think a lot of people were very resentful for that.
In recent news, we've seen that many news outlets have decided to create more of an excitement throughout the population with the way that they cover their stories.
Right.
So why do you think that is?
You know, I hate to say it, but there's so many places for you to get information, and everybody's kind of, you know, trying to get that little piece of the pie. We want to be that source of information. Some folks have taken the opinion, if I kind of play it up a little bit, maybe people will watch me. Our philosophy here at News 2 is to just give you the facts, try to get them to you as low-key as we possibly can, not to cause any kind of a panic, and then you, as an individual, have to make a decision about what you want to do with the information we give you.
Do you have any personal advice to give to somebody who isn't necessarily accustomed to natural disasters?
Yes, you know, I hate to say it, I wouldn't want someone to go through it to learn a lesson, but I think listen to folks around who have been through, whether it be a hurricane, whether it be a tornado, whether it be an earthquake, which we don't have that often, but we're susceptible to just flooding on a normal sunny day because of the tidal situation. So I would say ask questions, listen to people, educate yourself as much as possible, and just know what the potential hazards could be. That's probably the best advice I could give.
Well, it was a privilege to get to interview you.
Well, thanks. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you hanging out with us.
Coleman Boulevard is one of Mount Pleasant's most popular areas, crowded with tourists, historical landmarks, and countless small businesses. The ongoing construction in the area has temporarily inconvenienced a large amount of people. We decided to take a look into the causes of this new infrastructure project, as well as the effects that it's having on the Low Country.
Construction started in September of 2017, and we anticipate it being completed by December of 2019. The main reasons for construction on Coleman Boulevard is that for many years our elected body and our planners have had a vision for Coleman Boulevard that creates more of a Main Street type feel. And what you will see when we're done is a new cross section and improved stormwater drainage. We have storm pipes that go on both sides of Coleman for about 2 miles worth of drainage, and it all goes out to Shem Creek down by the boat landing.
I think it's a little unnecessary, but at the same time, Mount Pleasant needs to sustain all the tourists that are coming in by large numbers each year.
It can be an issue sometimes trying to get out of here just because you don't know which direction you can come and go. It's always been pretty safe that if I exit the parking lot on the left, that I'm good. But I would say even still, it's been a minor inconvenience.
Near Smoke Barbecue, next to like all that construction near Wild Wings. It's way harder to get in the evening because traffic is completely backed up. I've almost gotten in several car crashes because there's one where the lane kind of swerves in the intersection and some cars will just go straight through. And I almost just got like T-boned from the side like quite a few times.
They're widening the road a bit, specifically over near Page's Oak Grove. When you try to come down Coleman Boulevard in the mornings, that area can get very chaotic with people trying to make the left, and I've personally witnessed 3 accidents in that area.
So the traffic controls have been a little bit challenging for some folks. But going forward in the future, I think it will benefit everybody. It will increase traffic capacity on Coleman Boulevard. So it will benefit the public by creating additional modes of transportation.
This has been Amelia Walker reporting for Tribe Talk.
Wanjo is known for its outstanding sports programs. However, some students look beyond the school for athletics.
Mount Pleasant's Unified Sports Program partners with the Special Olympics to offer an array of activities to a group of exceptional players.
Finn Carlin has a story.
Sports have always been an essential part to the lives of many students, but recently, a special group of players have stepped up to the plate. With the goal of unifying both exceptional and general players alike, Unified Sports have shown that anyone can master the game.
If we could put a nail in that shoe, we would. That's the ball.
Unified Sports is programming for athletes with disabilities playing alongside of athletes without disabilities. So we take athletes of all ages, and then we have peers who are our unified partners, and they all get to play on teams together.
I chose to volunteer because I currently work at a golf course that helps kids learn how to play golf at a younger age, and I thought it would be a great idea to go into volunteering for Unified Golf.
For some community service projects, they might be going and they're helping people in a way, but not directly interacting with them. And so I think directly interacting with the athletes is what that experience is all about, and makes a difference in which community service they may choose.
I like at this age, for probably teenagers, it's some fun little after school kind of thing to do. Like, you make more friends, and everyone has a different thought process and everything like that, so you kind of have to respect each person in their certain way. And I would say you should definitely join, and I think it's a great opportunity for after school activities.
These programs are for the experience. It's a chance for them to get out and do a sport like any other person would do. It's a chance for them to come out and meet new friends.
I like to play United Sports because I like to play golf. It's a favorite coach.
10 years ago, 15 years ago, opportunities like this did not exist. So it's giving them a way to be a part of society like any other person is. You come out one time and just give it a try. It's you just kind of get thrown into things, and you'll see how the athletes will embrace you, and you will just really start enjoying yourself. And I think that's all the motivation you'll need to come out and do this.
This has been Finn Carlin reporting for Tribe Talk.
Just means being able to live your life as the person that you are and being happy with it.
cars becoming more and more autonomous by the day, the need for a driver is becoming less and less.
Finn Carlin takes a look at the new age of self-driving cars.
The steering wheel has been the centerpiece of the car since it was invented, but what happens when you remove the driver from controlling it? Companies such as Uber and Tesla have tested this theory with self-driving cars, which has sparked controversy as to whether they are brilliant or dangerous technology.
The promise of self-driving cars is that you'll be able to get into the car and verbally tell it where you want to go, and it will take you all the way from point A to point B without any intervention on your part.
They essentially want almost what's today a train system, but a much more modern version of that on a highway.
Self-driving cars in their current state right now, they can't be fully autonomous because we're not ready for that with our current roads, and frankly, we just have too much human error.
Basically, there's just sensors all over it that detect what lane you're in, whether or not there's a car beside you, behind you, in front of you. And the way it works is it controls the acceleration and the deceleration of the car.
The most complicated thing about designing a self-driving car is dealing with humans on the road because they do unexpected, stupid things.
We see a lot of controversy right now about the death in Arizona, but that was, for the most part, I'm not going to say it's entirely caused by the driver because obviously there's no way of knowing, but I do think that there's a little bit too much bad press than there should be, given if you actually look at the camera results. There is a driver there because the technology is still new, because it's still improving.
Any computer that you use, no matter how advanced it is, no matter how high tech there is, there's always going to be bugs in a program. There's always going to be problems with it that's going to require a human to step in.
But we've known for a long time that computers can react faster than people. It's the whole point we use computers.
A self-driving car that works would be a lot safer.
The point that we're at now with self-driving technology, I don't think it's at all ready to be used on the road.
At the moment, I would say I would be more worried to see a self-driving car on the road than a human driver.
I think young people are pretty flexible about accepting new things. People will get used to it just like they've gotten used to smartphones and iPads and all that.
If not now, if not this year, if not this decade, then in just a few more. The technology is maybe not ready for consumer use yet, but it's definitely there.
This has been Finn Carlin reporting for Tribe Talk.
Finn Webb is a senior who takes the average shoe and turns it into an amazing piece of artwork.
Well, I've been drawing for pretty much my entire life, but I started to develop a unique style about the time when I got into high school. It was like my first or second year of high school, and a lot of my friends really liked it, and they were like, dude, you should totally draw that on some shoes. I bought a pair of Vans for myself, all white, and I just started drawing on them, and it kind of took off from there. Honestly, like at this point, it kind of just comes to me. Like most of the time I don't do any prior planning, and I pretty much just put my pen to paper or to the shoe, and it kind of just flows. I like to listen to some good music while I do it and get into a creative state. I break out one shoe and I get out a black pen and I start coloring that bad boy, and I get all the black and white done, so I get what I'm going to color in. I go ahead and put that all on the paper or the shoe, and after that I bust out the colored markers and I just color it all in, and put the shoelaces back in. I spray it with a sealant that seals it so the ink won't run off. Every pair is completely unique. Like there's no pair that's the same. They're all super colorful, like abstract art or psychedelic art.
Finn Webb takes business commissions on his Instagram. He charges $100 for the art on low tops and $120 for the art on high tops.
Most people who wanted to get a pair of shoes or buy some art, they would contact me on Instagram at FinnWebbArt. I really plan on making art my full-time career. That's what I'd be most happy doing, and I'm really just going to put in all the effort I can to make my dream come true.
This is Nick Tilden reporting for Tribe Talk.
Thanks for watching, Wando, and make sure to follow us on Instagram and Snapchat at Tribe Talk WHS.
And stay tuned for this week's edition of Tribe Talk Presents.
This has been Ellie Grace Goodwin
and Christian Crone signing off.
Thank you.